Welcome. This is David Bowles, Human Meme. Today's topic, malignant skin cancer and E. coli poisoning. Well, my human meme friend, I just finished a raw and rough week. The double shot of rock that no one wants to listen to or hear. I was the recipient of twin bad news diagnoses of 2 malignant basal cell carcinomas on my face and neck, and food poisoning via an E. coli bacterial infection. Now, as I understand it, the skin cancer has been brewing inside me for quite a while now. And sure, malignant skin cancer is bad, but I am told it is not as disastrous as metastasized skin cancer. So I guess that's one good thing. And the damage was done to my skin 40 years ago when I was a kid playing under the Nebraska sun. And it just takes about 40 years for these sorts of cancers to present themselves, to show enough, to bother you enough to get it cut out and have it burnt away, and then to hope it never comes back again. And if you're like me and you happen to be light-eyed and light-skinned, with a 98% Northwestern European ancestry, then, as my dermatologist told me 20 years ago, there's nothing good for you under the sun. Unfortunately, back in the 1970s, you spent a lot of time outside as a kid. There was no sunscreen, no talk of SPF, no hats, no sunglasses. You took off your shirt, you ran around, swimming in the municipal pool, and playing sandlot ball, and racing around track and football turf. And the sun was always there, beaming down on you, and slowly eating away at your future. And you're completely unaware of any of all that at the time, until it's too late. Luckily, my current dermatologist isn't too worried. The hole in my neck, the hole in my head, is an ulcerative malignant cancer that will take some time to calm down and heal and cut out. But he also told me, it's okay, but we're in a long process now. And so it goes. And after all this cancer is cut out, then we move into a blue light therapy that will peel my entire face. But I'm told this isn't a traditional chemical peel. The blue light thing, the blue light process, will be done with the intention of proactively removing any other hidden cancer things that have been yet to present themselves for the zapping. And since my insurance covers it, I guess there's no reason not to do a blue light therapy, even though it's probably going to hurt a bit for a while. Now, my human meme friend, the food poisoning part came as a surprise the day after my malignant cancer diagnosis. My wife and I eat exactly the same diet every day. So it was really pretty easy to pin down the cause of what got me sick and why she did not get sick. And that one answer is this: craft beer. Jana had the blueberry ale. I had some sort of wild nettleberry nutcore thing. Some kind of IPA that, from the first swig from the bottle, tasted off and wrong. And yet, I just went ahead and drank it all anyway. Because, craft beer always tastes brittle and a little awful to someone with a plain Midwestern palate. And oh, sure, I should have listened to my gut. Instead, my gut stood up and took me on, gave me a few punches, and shook me inside out. Now, general everyday food poisoning can take a day or two to present itself. And it was a couple of days later, after drinking the craft pale ale, that I got a little sick. And then another couple of days after that, when I was pooping blood 10 times a day for 3 days, it all started to fall in place. And none of it was very enjoyable. Now, here's the thing that I didn't know that you may want to know. The difference between simple food poisoning and E. coli food poisoning is tremendous. Simple food poisoning with diarrhea can be helped along with Imodium or Pepto-Bismol to help you feel better and stop the pooping. But if you then happen to go on to the next stage, the E. coli stage, all of that anti-diarrheal medication like Imodium and Pepto-Bismol really messes you up in all the really wrong ways. Because to get better with E. coli, you have to poop a lot to get rid of that bacterial infection in your gut. It's a bloody infection that is pretty much melting your intestines and your colon. So you have to poop out the blood on a regular basis to get better. But the medication you were just taking to stop you from pooping is working and doing its job, and so your gut begins to roil and boil, and you keep getting sicker. And your gut becomes distended, and you got a big belly, and you feel like you're dying. Until the inevitable happens, and the anal dam breaks, and all that bloody E. coli stuff begins to pour out of you and into the toilet bowl. And yes, all of that terrible blood is the hallmark of E. coli. It's the marker. And there's no doubt you have E. coli poisoning when you have that amount of blood after the initial couple of days with simple, nonstop diarrhea. So, there I was, bleeding cancer from my face and bleeding E. coli from my bum. And all in all, the measure was not fun. My doctor gave me Cipro, 500 milligrams twice a day. Cipro is an antibiotic for the E. coli, and I was on it for 7 days. I guess it went fine. And so, my human meme friend, in the final analysis of cancer/E. coli infections, I couldn't help but wonder if my previous bout with shingles 3 years ago was worse. And you can read my Santa Gave Me Shingles article in David Bowles' blogs at bowlesblogs.com. And then I quickly shook myself into my senses and answered my own wondering. Shingles is 100% worse than cancer and E. coli. And my shingles was caught early, within those first vital few 3 days. So I only suffered with shingles for 3 weeks and not 3 months. But still, shingles is terrible. Shingles is a disaster. Get the shingles vaccine if you are over 50, and if you have had shingles before, you are not inoculated. You need to get the Shingrex, Singrex vaccine. It's new. 3 years after you have recovered from shingles. Shingles immunity has a timeline, and it runs like this. 3 years after infection, you are 97% immune. 7 years after infection, you are 31% immune. 11 years after infection, you have no shingles immunity left, and you are just as vulnerable to getting shingles again as you were the first time around. And not all doctors know this, but you know it. Be smart. Get the shingles vaccine. Bump your protection back up permanently to 96%. Believe me, you don't want shingles. And don't think you're naturally immune from getting shingles. You are not. If you had chickenpox as a kid, shingles is in your body, waiting to stab you in every nerve ending you have. It's a pity. It's dangerous. Shingles really sucks. If you never had chickenpox as a kid, then you are in much more danger than just getting shingles. I urge you to get in touch with your doctor. Find some solutions, get some immunity built up in your body. It's never too late to start. Oh, and while we're on the topic, get a flu shot too. I get one every year. A flu shot does not give you the flu. A flu shot builds up your flu resistance over time. So imagine having 50 years of flu shots in your body. So when you become older and you are more frail, you have methodically built up your influenza immunity over time. Be smart. Take care of yourself now to win your later life. And there you have it, my friend. Health Sob Story number 368 in a series of 10,000. Take care of yourself. Listen to your body. Go to the doctor. And don't be like me. 2 years I kind of had a hole in my head, in my neck. Get a hole, any hole, checked by your doctor. Just go. Don't be proud. Submit to the process. Listen to your wife. And yes, it's better when the hole in your head turns out to be nothing, even though it's always life and death. But when that hole in your neck is more something like a malignant cancer, then you owe it to yourself to get patched up so you may continue to sail into the next safe harbor. Be well. Be safe. Be a human meme. Thank you for listening.